This is the last round of 16 for the day, and it seems like Dice's internet is now stable, so he's going up against the most successful Frenchie recently in the Warcraft scene. No, it's not Todd, it's not Side, it is KraV. Very, very silent on social media today, but hopefully not silent on the maps. France versus Russia, Undead versus Night Elf. Who's gonna be Lawlight's quarterfinal opponent? Take it away, boys.
I wonder, sometimes people don't know. I've had to in Dust League tell people that it was in fact forced cross spawn. I hope both these guys know, because it's of course not a map people are playing a lot recently, and sometimes people kind of forget. I know I forget sometimes that it's forced cross, but I'm assuming both these guys are prepared for the map they veto down to.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out from the scouting if they do know or not. But yeah, it's a shocking amount of players who don't know that it's forced cross spawn.
Yeah.
This is a War3 champion special. Their ladder version of Twisted Meadows is a forced cross spawn, which I think makes the map a lot better. A lot more random, a lot more predictable, in the sense that you can actually lay out your plans and have a reliable strategy for most cases, which was always the weird thing about it, as you cannot usually scout too early to always have that information right away, especially, of course, because you can scout into the void. But yeah, it is cross spawn here, so it's going to be no position close to a Merc camp, which is unfortunate for the Night Elf. The Night Elves usually want to get that Merc camp up nice and early, and despite that, we still see a Warden first for Dice.
Very interesting, and probably a lot of chasing that Death Knight from KraV around with that Shadow Strike early on, I would imagine. And of course, if he can get this null camp without taking too much damage or being under too much pressure, he can eat through the trees and go for that mercenary camp as well, which is kind of the classic Twisted Meadows Night Elf creep route. But for now, the Acolyte is kind of delaying this by a decent amount, but I think as though, yeah, KraV is going to go for his creeping as well, so this is going to give Dice actually a lot of space to creep up this Warden.
Yeah, losing the Acolyte means that Warden is going to get level 2 right away. Without that Acolyte lost, she would just be a hair shy. And it's going to be a slight experience and level lead for the Warden early on, as long as she doesn't deny anything. Which she didn't. But this was a lot of Wisp repair, right? So this is a lot of lumber that had to be invested early. And KraV might be teching faster. Usually KraV always fast expands, but perhaps this time he won't.
It is kind of a tricky expansion. Despite Twisted Meadows being known as a macro map, the expansions are not too easy to creep or to honestly get to. They're quite the long walk to get there and to harass them. And to keep them safe, if you're far out of position, you can take a lot of damage on your early expansion. So despite being known as a macro map, those are some issues that come into play. So it will be a tech from KraV, and it will be a tech from Dice as well. One base. May favor the Warden in the long run because, of course, the economic harass is very painful to deal with on the Undead side if that's what Dice goes for, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it.
A player's forces are under attack.
When Lawlight had this legendary game here against Happy...
Sorry, KraV woke up the creeps, and he woke up the creeps by accident, then got surrounded, and then he ran away. Sorry, go on, though.
How did he wake up the creeps? He just attacked them?
He accidentally right-clicked them, yeah, instead of moved.
It's looking really shaky right now by KraV. I was willing to ignore the first mistake where he lost a ghoul to creeps, but... that one, I mean, this one wasn't too costly, just lost a few hit points, but maybe a little shaky in the fingers. But yeah, to really make the Warden work well, you need to creep like crazy. You guys pointed out before, Lawlight's efficiency with Ancient of War and creeping is unbelievable. Unmatched across the world. And to get the most out of the Warden, this is what you have to do. But KraV should know this must be the goal. In fact, he's seeing the Ancient of War here, trying his tricks in the middle. This is what makes this map so good for Night Elf creeping in the early game, mid game. The fact you can eat through the trees here easily and get 2 big yellow camps, one after the next.
And it's so safe, too, because, of course, there's only a 1-slot opening for these units to get through, and there's no Dust of Appearance on the side of KraV. He's not really going to be able to get anything done. Okay, the ghouls are now. He's going to be able to get something done he could staff through as
Single
well.
Archer Shadow Melt. How cool is this?
Yeah.
And KraV getting punished for not having bought the dust, which is a big mistake. He was the shot earlier, but he had to run away from the creeps. So here we did see the punish of waking up the creeps. But the Ancient of War is taken out. Last hit stolen with the coil. Warden, however, got the big healing, which is a great item for her. And very close now to level 3. Will get that level 3. So KraV tried to punish the creeping. I guess it sort of worked out. He got the AOW, but he got so little experience in return himself.
And he's going to have to invest a couple more coils. He's got one more left, but there's plenty more Shadow Strikes. There's almost a third after some mana regen as well. And there's the last coil, so one ghoul probably going to fall. Haven't actually seen a second crypt yet for KraV, and he is going straight to tier 3. So it is going to be more of a standard play. I would have almost guaranteed Gargs on this map from KraV, but switching it up a little bit. And we'll see what, now that Dise has level 3 on his Warden, what his next move is.
Yes, there's definitely still pressure on the Warden. She got level 3, but that's not good enough. If you have to fight against Undead tier 3 timing, you need level 4 at the very least. And more than just level 4, you need to be close to 5 to kill some ghouls and get level 5 from this. Because the Warden in the late game really isn't a good fighter. Only if she gets level 5 or 6 can she keep up. What she can also do is jump into the economy and probably force a tech cancel right here. The DK staff is on cooldown, so this is a big problem. And normally against the Warden nowadays, we see a second Necropolis to remake these Acolytes, but KraV didn't opt for it, and he's getting punished heavily for that.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that second Necropolis early on, but you know, hindsight is really always 20/20 when it comes to this Warden harass. You don't think it's gonna be you, but then you're the one canceling your tech, losing the double Acolytes. The Warden's out of mana now, so it has been, you know, defended for now. But it's still a lot of gold missing. It's still a lot of tech time missing. There's the Dust of Appearance and just a blink out. This is such an effective harass. Very well done. Nicely timed as well by Dise. And now he's going to take the slight lead, especially in the tech department.
Yeah, I may have underestimated the Ancient of War loss earlier. If that one was still alive, the Warden could not continue creep. If the Ancient of War was somewhere, like in the south at the lab or something. But how is this Warden going to creep from here? It's going to be very, very difficult. And in fact, it's not going to be a solo Warden. It's going to be a Demon Hunter second. Warden into Demon. It's like the Sonic special.
Yeah, I think Shishi did it as well, and Sonic. Those are the only two people I've actually seen do it. Very unorthodox. But I guess mana burn, pretty good. You do need to find a way to get to level 3. It's just like the Panda, right? You can't use it on level 1. You need to creep it up to level 3. And that Ancient War loss, like you point out, a pretty big deal. It could have been creeping this entire time, probably 2 big orange camps in the meantime, but instead he just sat in his base with his units Dise.
The Dryads coming out now are going to make a big difference. And the Demon Hunter here in these early skirmishes on level 1 is decent. It's going to start burning right away, but the DK gets level 3. That level 2 coil hurts. Doesn't want to get burned by the Demon though, but burned he will get. Next coil is going to be coming ready. Demon Hunter is really close to the kill threshold, and he will die. But I think he did a decent job. He burned a lot. He did a lot of damage, and the level 1 hero is going to be back before too long. And the DK dies. He didn't see that one coming. Blink, Shadow Strike, and that's the game already. Not too long of a match here on Twisted Meadows, the big map.
Damn, did not expect that. The impact of this one Dryad there. Like, I've not seen that too often. Rogue Dryad scouting the creeping. Got 2 ghouls and prepared everything else with the poison, and boom, it's 1-0 for Dise. Far from a perfect game for KraV. This is very untypical for him. Not playing a Crypt Lord against Night Elf? What's wrong with him? Not playing Mass, not playing Ghoul Mass, Garg Mass, any Mass? Where's the Mass?
Maybe that's the same reason we didn't see a tweet from him. Maybe not feeling confident today, not playing his best, perhaps. It does happen, and you know, you can't change the day of the tournament just because you're having an off day, but it was not the perfect performance that we are, you know, that at least the close to perfect performance we're used to seeing from KraV in these macro maps, especially in a macro game is what I expected to see there from him. But yeah, like you say, no expansion, no Gargs, little sloppy unit control a couple of times, and it's all it takes because Dise seems to be on point today.
Seriously, even with the connectivity issues he had before, that Shadow Melted Archer during the creep, super sweet. Those are the plays I like to see here. 1-0. for the young gun. 21 years old. Have to repeat that over and over and over because it's so rare. Johnny Cage and Dise, the young talents here. And we got 2 new contributors to the War3 Champions Season 6 final prize pool. Lane QQ with $5 and Knife Party with $5. Thank you, Pad. Well, at this point, there's not too much Pad is doing, but rather all the others that are involved with War3 Champions. But yeah, of course, founding everything was Pad's thing. So 4,325. We are $675 short of the big 5K, where everything gets boosted by 2,500 thanks to the wonderful Mr. Governor. And now we move on to match number 2. Will we get a Night Elf Mirror as the last quarterfinal and the last game of the day? Or is KraV able to tie it up?
Concealed Hill to be our battleground and the decision. And I hope KraV is going to go more into his kind of game. This tier 3 1-base rush, timing, playstyle, micro undead. That's not really him. That's not really where he thrives. He's way better in chaotic games with drops and harass, with an expansion. Very importantly, an expansion. Sometimes even fake expos, fallbacks, distraction, and then an unexpected expansion coming up at some point. But he usually needs to get up to 2 bases and then flood with ghouls or gargs or something. Otherwise, I think he's a little too predictable. And Dise, seems to have a very specific game plan in mind and very cautious of what KraV could be doing. Look at the Ancient of War positioning. These guys have played against each other before, and an early ghoul was used in one of those games and canceled the AOW, and Dise doesn't want to risk this time.
Yeah, I like that from Dise that he's playing safe, because all you need to do against KraV is be ready for all the stuff he's going to throw your way, which is, easier said than done, but you got to be ready for that aggressive ghoul, you got to be ready for the fast expansion, you got to be ready for the gargs, and apparently you have to be ready for the 1-base tier 3 play as well. So as long as you can, cross all your T's and dot all your I's, if you're in Dice's situation, you can hope to maybe out-micro him in an even game. But if you let KraV play his game with, as I expect to see gargs probably on this map, Concealed Hill is a pretty good map for it. If you let him play his game, you let him play the hit and run, the fast expansion, the macro long games, then it can be very tricky against KraV. So we'll see how the scouting is for Dise. So far, so good with that 1 Wisp.
And scouting is going to be key. Especially Concealed Hill, you don't want to allow an early expansion. If the Undead isn't creeping this with 5 ghouls, the natural, it should never be able to be taken. And even then, it should be expensive. So it's going to be very, very important to keep KraV away from that 2-base play, at least for a long time. Until tier 2, it should be possible to prevent, usually, as we see the Keeper moving south for the first time, getting scouted by an Acolyte, and the fact that the Acolyte is here and on the natural already makes one assume that KraV isn't going to be going for the tier 1 expert.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before he has the resources to tech KraV, and of course Dise is going to be teching very soon, probably right now, in fact. He's going to get level 2 on his Keeper, of course, off that KraV camp, and we're going to see very quickly, this does look like a tech again from KraV, but we still don't have confirmation. I mean, pretty much the fact he's not creeping it right now means confirmation, and with the Keeper in his face, like you said earlier, it would have been very costly to go for this creep camp, I feel like. At the expansion, so maybe a safe choice from KraV, but he's not known for making safe choices, Remo Demo.
Kind of surprised to see him play so conservative here. Also, the first creep camp he took was the green camp. Yeah. Not the bigger one, it's not a huge deal, but he brought 3 ghouls to the green. For the green, you only need 2 ghouls, and if you only bring 2, you can tech way faster, but he brought 3 ghouls and upgraded the Nerob, so his tech is a little bit slower than normal and a decent amount behind the Night Elf, which is going to be relevant for the second hero timings. But here during the first nighttime, the ghouls can creep very effectively. Ghouls actually creep really quickly and efficiently if they're left alone, if they're not scouted. And KraV is making good use of that opportunity.
He's not quite level 3 on the Keeper and very low on mana, so this hit and run that he wants to go, like, get a single Acolyte, force the tech cancel perhaps, might not be effective. He doesn't have mana for the Treants and the Entangle at the same time, but the Archers are coming in. But the Death Knight's already back. I doubt we're going to see KraV lose an Acolyte here. Oh, and if there was level 2 coil, so close, 1 experience off. That could have been at least a forced town portal there, but Dice gets out, but he doesn't get an acolyte.
It's a cool base build here. It's like a StarCraft base. There's only one opening in this whole base, and that's between the Necro and the Narrow Tower. And a little trivia side note. Necropolis are very weird. Only the top can be blocked with ziggurats. All other sides cannot be blocked. Which is so strange. I wonder how the hell that ever happened.
Yeah, it's very cool. There's a similar thing you mentioned StarCraft in Brood War, where if you put a supply depot and a barracks, I think, you put the barracks on the left side of the supply depot, it's fully blocked, but you put it on the right side of the supply depot, there's only 1 square you can fit through or something like that. I'm not a Brood War player, but that's a kind of a similar thing. Yeah, the Sim City. Oh, we will have Gargs, though, from KraV. That's what I want to see from KraV. Cool base builds and a cool strat.
It's very late crypto, and it's late graveyard, so we're going to have Gargs, but not that fast. They're going to be certainly delayed. And by that time, they're out. The expansion in the north should be finished. Tree of Life, around 40% done now. Skeleton is going to scout it, but that might not be in time. Especially if Dice brings the Wisps over there, which I would love to see there.
Yeah, that's something we've been talking about for ages. Even in the first game of the day, we were talking about it again, but it is certainly not a mistake that can be underestimated if you lose this tree when there's no Wisps to repair or detonate the skeletons. It is a massive blunder. But we're not going to see that from Dice. He's got his archers in position. He's got his first lore up. Demon Hunter second again. Not the earliest of expansions, though, for this Demon Hunter Mass Dryad style, if that's what Dice is going for. But it's still, it's safe. It's secure. The creeping will probably not be punished too hard because there's, of course, Gargs coming out and not anything like, you know, a bunch of ghouls being pulled. Although KraV could maybe pull them and go for some pressure if he desires.
Yeah, the DK being 3 here is super strong. If the Lich joins in with Nova, this could be super scary. Perhaps even bringing a mana potion. First Gargoyle is out. Kept it in the main for just a second, but now probably going to bring it over. Oh, but the Lich, mana potion, heal potion, goes for his own creep instead of opting for the harass. And great scout with a wisp. Saw this. I believe he saw this.
Yeah, I think the harass is the stronger option because if you can pick apart those archers, it really slows down the creeping of the Demon Hunter to get to level 3. It also, you know, just makes, if you go for a tier 3 timing, it all the more stronger. But counter expansion, of course, is KraV's wheelhouse. But the Keeper's in position. Beautiful scouting and awareness by Dice here. Both players very aware of what their opponent is doing, and the Ziggurat might be canceled. Definitely will be canceled. Was it canceled? It must have been. Foil Nova. It'll put a little bit of damage in. 1 more of those, and that would be a dead Keeper. And it's actually, there's not quite a Nova yet, but there's 2 more coils, certainly. Passes the mana pot.
Oh, and he TP's out, not taking the damage. That was greatly done by Dice there as well.
Yep.
Forces the mana potion, TP is out, but KraV is gonna get up this expansion. I can understand him going for the counter expo rather than harass. Harass can be very powerful there, and you can kill a lot of archers. But if it fails in the end and you lose units and the opponent gets up the expansion and you're sitting 1 base versus 2, can be a rough one as well. Look at the Keeper. He's back in with the Telestaff. Went over to the Wisp. Getting nuked again, though, and this could be his end. There is another Nova almost ready. Can he reach?
Oh, detonate possibly? He detonates as no more Nova. Oh my god, Dice. There's close to a Nova, though, so he's still got to be careful, but that was a nice detonate. I don't know if the Lich was in range necessarily, but if he was at all, that would have been a dead Keeper. So nicely done. Wow. And the Demon Hunter at the same time, all this time, creeping with the Ancient of War. This is very well done from Dice.
Yeah. I kind of touched on this earlier. Just the fundamentals nowadays by Dice are looking so good.
Yeah.
He's not going too nuts. He's not trying to be too flashy. He's just doing what the greats are showing him, the Lawliats and such of the world. And I've been really impressed with him. He's gonna get up his expansion. He's got the good strategy running. He's got the Keeper, Demon, Dryad, Expo. Would love to see a Shredder right now. He's perfectly got 4 supply open. And then he could also go to tier 3 here before too long.
Yeah, he can go for a very early tier 3, of course, because he's not under pressure as expansion. So that's something that 15 Sway did not manage to get to on Last Refuge's Happy earlier, whereas Dice may have that luxury. And he's so close to level 3, actually. He might have denied a creep, maybe, or maybe he's just 1 experience off. But, of course, 1 ghoul, anything, 1 skeleton will get him. But the nuke is going to be strong, and there's no town portal, no staff or preservation, actually, for Dice. Just the heal scroll. So this could be the way out, but there's actually plenty of units here for KraV as well.
Sapper connected, took out the Ziggurat. That was expensive. There was almost 300 gold there. That Spirit Tower, that is. But more Ziggurats are coming. One Dryad was taken out. Demon Hunter certainly very hurt. Moonjuice looking rough. So this demon cannot heal up only from Moonwells. There is a shop. How much is Dise willing to commit to the tier 2? This could quickly turn into an overextension. The Night Elf could also just go tier 3 and take it into the long game.
Yeah, we're talking about the fundamentals of Dise, and he's been doing that very well, but when he gets into weird situations, how do I heal my Demon Hunter up? When do I go to tier 3? Do I get the Shredder or not? When do I creep? When do I push? Do I go all in on the expansion? That may be where he's a little bit shaky, and maybe where KraV can gain the advantage, because fundamentals are one thing, but it's knowing what to do when you get in these tricky situations is another thing. But I think creeping a fountain might not be a bad idea for Dise, but it seems as though he may be going across the map again, and KraV is the one to take the fountain, gets a flute, which ain't too bad at all.
The tier 3 starts for Dise. I was starting to get worried that this might be a bit of an overextension, but no. Tier 3 will be coming, and with that, lots of upgrades. Dise definitely needs a Shredder sooner or later, but doesn't at the moment have the supply open for this and hasn't broken into upkeep yet. Maybe if he gets 800 gold or so, I'd love to see him go into upkeep, get the Shredder, and get some upgrades rolling. That's the biggest advantage for Night Elf in the late game, upgrades and multiple Orbs of Venom to have that super powerful late game.
And do you think Dise goes for like a triple wind play, or does he go for 80 supply Dryads against the Gargs? What do you think is the ideal counter for Dise to get to?
I think what's been looking most effective nowadays is going into Hippos sooner or later and adding a third hero, Panda. But at the moment, he's kind of getting clobbered here in the middle. 3 Dryads going down without a trade. All gargoyles still alive. And here we go. This is KraV flooding. This is KraV massing. This is where he feels at home.
Yeah, very well done fight from KraV, finding the timing. And Cloak of Flames is going to help out against the ghouls. But what do you do against the Gargs now that the archers are all dead, now that the Dryad numbers are very, very few? There's just 2 about to be a 3rd and a 4th one, and no orb quite yet. The tier 3 only about 60% done for Dise. Of course, KraV just started his recently, but you do not need tier 3 to build more Gargs, and that's what I imagine is on the menu for KraV.
A player's forces are under attack.
Would also expect some Frostworms here soon.
Yeah.
KraV loves mixing them in. Although it is dangerous if you're going up against Hippos later, because in that case you just want to have as many Gargs and as many upgrades as possible. Plus a Dreadlord. Next Red Camp going to KraV, Rune Bracers for him. Pretty much useless, but at least he kept it away from the Demon Hunter in that case. And with that in mind, it's actually really good.
Yeah, for sure. But 2 Red Camps is going to be a lot of experience for KraV. Nice reveal to pick off that Garg. Fundamentals, that's what we're talking about. A beautiful reveal over the trees to get that 1 pick off, but you're going to need 2, 3, 4 more of those Dise if you want to even up the playing field, because these Gargs are still more than enough to deal with these Dryads.
Archer upgrades coming.
Ooh.
Dise might be trying to transition into mass archers with marksmanship.
Interesting.
Which is really hard to make work against 2 base undead. Of course, at the moment it works very well against Gargs. But KraV could absolutely just transition into A-bombs. One of the best super late game armies Night Elf can go for is archers and hippos. That kind of takes care of everything. But it's very expensive and a little bit awkward with the upgrade types.
And I suppose if you get the air dominance with hippos, you could go into chimeras as well if there's some sort of an abomination transition. Could be decent. Of course, then you're looking at a lot of different units. So is the Night Elf, especially if you want that 3rd hero too, in the way of the Panda you mentioned earlier. You end up having to really go to high upkeep to get the ideal counter for everything put together, whereas KraV probably going to stick to just a couple of units as he gets double Slaughterhouse up, so he is already countering those archers. And another Tree of Life, this is something we see Foggy do all the time. Dise is doing the same. Once the map gets crept out, he goes for that Tree of Life at the high ground red camp and just holds. If he can hold, he wins, but he's got to save his Demon Hunter. And he does save it for now, but will this expansion get up by the red camp?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We're going to have some bears coming in as well. A bit of roar, of course, is always nice. And here we see it. Marksmanship. Late game transition into archers. We've all seen many times how strong archers can be super late game against Orc. Sometimes even a Knight of Mirror, though rather rarely. I am very concerned with how that's going to work out against A-bombs. It's going to be really hard for Dise to pull this off properly. As far as fight execution goes, it's going to be much easier for KraV.
Yeah, he's got really strong nuke. He's almost got level 5-4 heroes. Of course, level 3 Nova in the future is going to be insane. You're going to need heal scrolls. There's the Panda third. So, you know, all things making sense for Dise, but the army composition is going to be a little bit wacky for now. He's 71 supply to KraV 62. The expansion's certainly going to be canceled. That is somewhat of a win condition in the late game, but for now, the supply advantage could be a win condition for Dise. But is he ready to fight now? It seems as though.
Yeah, it's KraV at the moment who is not ready to take this engagement. The triple hero by the Night Elf, very strong.
Yeah.
At the moment, only one Orb of Venom. Would love to see a second, and later a third. Super powerful. But when the A-bombs are in, everything's going to change, you know, when the Fire Nation attacks. But look at the main.
Double temple.
Double temple.
Yeah.
What?
Is that for... Is he going into Necros? What?
How many production buildings does he want to have? Are we going to see double Boneyard in a moment?
double sacrificial pit, just for good measure. Get those shades in. You don't need them for the boneyard anymore, but get them in. The towers, difficult to be broken, but there is a couple of bears, and the panda's going to help. But this is decent damage, and the cool thing about the panda third is the lich almost falls. Is you can get 3 orbs, but will the lich live? Level 4 lich falling would suck, but there's plenty of items to save him for now for KraV.
No statues here for KraV, no destroyers. Only another statue coming in, but the Lich is in trouble indeed. Invo Potion saves him for now. Needs to fall back towards the towers. Dise is finding a really good timing right here. Only thing missing for him in the meantime would be a tier 3. And KraV maybe was getting a little too cutesy with these temples as well. If he just had more A-bombs here, this might be much better. Some bears going down, Drunken Haze coming in over and over. No Breath of Fire yet. DK level 5, we haven't felt his impact too much, but now the Demon are getting focused. He's in trouble. There's a staff, though, always protecting him. Even being level 4 himself, kind of tanky. DK getting entangled and focused. Speaking of tanky, oh, that Nova into the Archers connected big time. Ghouls coming in from the main as well. KraV is probably going to have to TP out here towards the expansion, repositioning, getting behind his towers again, and KraV is going to hold, but quite a few units had to die right now.
One more breath, potentially. A lot of units about to fall. 2 Gargs fall to the tail end of the fight, but the Panda about to fall. Of course, just a level 1 Panda. Demon Hunter came back with full health. The Cloak has been actually putting in work in this fight. Statue falls. The Panda about to fall. Only level 1, though. Double Abomination is going to help out quite a bit, and it seems as though Dise still just pumping Archers and Dryads. Now, Destroyer up in the air to deal with that Entangle and the Abomination. I think KraV is holding at the tail end of this fight. And the heroes are starting to get up to that level 5-5 with the level 5 Lich, and that's going to be terrifying with just Archers. Oh, there's a Nova. He eats a Garg to get it. Is there a staff off cooldown? There is, so I think he's going to be safe for now. Dise, well, the Death Knight be as safe as the Demon Hunter was, and both heroes actually live a very close fight at the end of the day. Both players 41 to 46 supply. They kind of traded everything. But Dise went for that expansion in the middle. I think he could have done that a bit earlier in this fight if everything was going perfectly for Dise.
Yeah, pretty even exchange there. Really cool. I would have favored it much more for Dise if the Panda had survived longer. But honestly, he didn't get much experience. Killing a level 1 hero isn't important in the sense that he's a big threat. But it's important because you prevent him from leveling up further. Yes. So this is why you want to take him out the way it was done right here by KraV. I gotta say, man, these Archers, I'm really not a big fan. And look at the Lich's experience. He's almost level 5. They're soon gonna be level 3 Nova against Archers. I think Dise would have fared much better just going Hippos, Dryads, Bears, Chims, all that good stuff with a good upgrade types. But his transition into Archers, I think, did no favors for him.
And this is going to be Necro Wagon for KraV. And, you know, if you could
dude,
see
let's
the
go.
whole map, if you could see the whole map, it would be just an obvious Chimera transition for Dise, right? I think that would be... Of course, there's Cripple on the Chimeras, but there's no more Gargs, there's Abominations, Necros, and Meat Wagons. I think Chimeras are just the obvious counter with some Fairy Dragons to boot. But you need to get the Scout.
Are crazy good against Necros. They always used to be good already. Nowadays, they're the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
The Treant
damage
saw the
max.
double temple in the main, and that must scream out Necros to him. I'm just looking for the wins. They should be coming down right now. He's got the resources.
Does he have the wisps? Where are the wisps at? He's got to pull them from the gold mine. I don't see any. Okay, he's got one in the main.
Oh yeah. Needs more wisps for more buildings.
A player's
And
force
he's got
star
no gold either. He's just pumping units right now. He's pumping bears and archers. And he, if he doesn't build any fairies, that's cool. But he's also going to need wisps for the necro wagon regardless. He's going to need them.
Dice does not look ready at all for what's to come. If KraV buys 2 heal scrolls, does he have 2? Only 1. I think he should go for another one. This is a scary push. DK is going to get level 6. Lich is going to get level 5. Only inches away. And Dice has to give up this expansion.
Triple's so good too. The nuke is insane. 6-5 on the heroes, and there's not that much to save the keeper or the panda when he comes back in. I just don't know what you can do. Wait for the corpses to start raining in, and dryads can only get rid of so many summons.
Yeah, archers are already bad against ghouls and A-bombs, but they might be even worse against mass summons. And look at the disease cloud. It's just absolutely annihilating everything. No chance. Yeah, Dice. Nope. Panda in trouble again. Is there a staff for him? Maybe. I think it's on cooldown. Invul dodges the coil. Nicely done. But boy, oh boy. That expansion is absolutely not going to be held. And it's KraV who should bring an Acolyte right now and expand himself.
Yeah, and he can just march forward as well. He's still got that beautiful single statue too, which is so essential for these necros and these heroes to keep the sustain up in the fight. And, if you use it on heal, it does actually take a lot of mana because there's so many units here being healed on that statue. But putting it on mana can definitely help extend this push. And now, with the meat wagons in the back, Dice is going to have to fight eventually, and he's still only pumping archers and lore units, and I don't think he can hold here.
Yeah, at this point, it's just an overwhelming mass. This looks like the campaign. The Demon Hunter, oof, barely getting out, but the Panda is a good choice here, but he's only level 2. He's not going to bring enough. Against this, you need fairies and wisps, and we hardly saw any detonates. We saw no fairies. Maybe even chims would be good, but archers, that's not the way to go. My friend, keeper, if he dies, that should certainly be game. There's a bit of moon juice still left, but yeah, that's going to be the game going to KraV as the demon dies. He will actually be saved one more time. That level 3 Nova against archers, dude, is like absolutely hopeless.
Yeah, we're going to have the Lich ultimate if KraV wants to give us a show as he kills the Demon Hunter, the Panda about to follow, and GG from Dice. 1-1. Well played to KraV. The triple transition is very much the KraV style, so I like to see that he's going back to his comfort zone in map 2.
Very, very glad to see the real KraV in this one right here. Create these crazy situations, especially against the player who doesn't have too much experience compared to yourself, and put him in the situations that he's not feeling comfortable, where you thrive. Create the chaos. And oh boy, was that a chaos at the end. KraV with the Necros, man. Lich King is back in the series, and we finally have a full best of 3 here.
Oh yeah, I guess so, eh? That's nice. I feel like Dice could have, if he did more damage at that push to KraV's expansion, maybe that was his win condition. Maybe going for that third base earlier behind that push, and then maybe, of course, fairies, chims, anything other than archers probably. So there's some strategic adjustments that Dice can make that isn't necessarily execution based. So we'll see if he can make them. And you got to scout better against KraV, but it's a lot to ask for to scout that often, because there was tech buildings going up the entire game for KraV. Wouldn't be surprised to see boneyards going up in the main when that game ended. So it's tough to see everything.
I was already baffled when this is the second game of KraV vs. Night Elf without a Crypt Lord, but now he starts to build slaughterhouses, statues against Night Elf. Can we please check the hotkeys of the replays if this is really KraV? Because the mass necros again at the end, but man, this is a new KraV for sure. And with the new KraV comes new community contributions towards the War 3 Champion Season final prize pool. G unit with $11.11. Go, 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 go. War 3 Champions less than 3. And a pretty big one, the biggest one of the day, if I'm not mistaken, the Cosmonaut with €100.
The legend. Love that guy.
Thanks to the players and casters, Warcraft 3 and 2021, smiley faces, the Cosmonaut. What a legend, exactly, $564 short of the big 5K. The donations will be matched if we get to 5K. Governor is adding 2,500 to the pool, so get in there. Will we do that on day one already? We have this map plus the next quarterfinal to do that. And I certainly hope you're up for the task, and I certainly hope our players are up for the task. Lollite is waiting in the quarterfinal for the winner of this very map. It's getting cold up to Northern Isles, my friends.
Guys, big thanks. You're doing a great job here supporting us, supporting the tournament, supporting the players. Absolutely wonderful to see on only day 1 of 3. And especially that one guy, Cosmonaut, instantly reminded me of Fiona Apple. You know Fiona Apple, Carson, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know that song, Cosmonaut, from her, I think, newest album?
I've only listened to it. I've only had it on autoplay Spotify. It always comes up in my daily playlist, so I don't actually know the names of the songs because I'm always in a ladder game, breaking my keyboard against Night Elves when it's playing. But I have heard probably that album.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's that album for me is like a little too rough. I like it a little more produced at times, but I can definitely see that it's just a really good album by a great musician. But Carson, wait a minute. Ladder games against Night Elf, haven't you heard? Orc is OP now against Night Elf. What are you doing, bro?
Is that right? Is that because of Fly?
That is because you just have to play like Fly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, exactly. Oh, she did that song, by the way. I was Googling that as we were talking about Fly. Extraordinary Machine. That's the song that always comes up. That's a great song. Love it. It reminds me of, what's that game? Cuphead. It reminds me of Cuphead, that song. If you guys haven't heard it, check out Extraordinary Machine.
Have you played that? That game?
No, I've only watched
super
it.
Hard.
Yeah, it looks very annoying to play, but it's very entertaining to watch. I love the aesthetic of it. I like that old, like,
that
30s, 40s aesthetic.
Yeah, true. It's beautifully made, like Hades. But
yes.
I think I would break many screens in my house if I was to play that game, which I want to avoid. So we have a DK opening again with ghouls against the Keeper once more. Fast level 2 creeper out by the Keeper, going for the Ancient of War at the Tuskar, so that results in the Keeper easily getting level 3. But the Ancient of War being far away from the next camp, really. At some point, of course, Keeper has to open up the natural. And with this being KraV, we would expect him to expand at some point as well. But seems like our Undead player here has decided that Tier 2 expansion is the way to go. Possibly with guards again.
Yeah, it seems like the right call when there is a Keeper. Maybe against something like a Demon Hunter, or maybe a level 1 Warden, if it's not the greatest map for Warden, of course, or a Tavern Hero would be the obvious choice. Maybe you can go for that Tier 1 expansion, but against a Keeper, especially with the beautiful scouting early game that Dise has been doing and continues to do with this Wisp. Not the best choice, perhaps. And it will be soon to be a level 3 Keeper against soon to be a level 3 Death Knight if KraV keeps this up, and probably Garx. That's a very early graveyard, but I guess better safe than sorry. We saw what happened to Mikael earlier against Thunder, so better to get it now than later.
There's gonna be a second crypt, KraV. He's got a bit more time. Oh, look at that Acolyte Scout. Instant against the tree. And now, with that being scouted so early, it's really important for Dise to bring the Wisps this time. And he does. There we go. 2 Wisps over right away.
My man. See, he does things like that so well. He always does, it seems, the right play. Maybe not the right units always, or maybe the micro in the fight isn't always perfect, but he always seems to do the right thing. And as you pointed out last game, it's not flashy or anything, but, from our point of view, when he brings 2 Wisps to keep that Expo safe, that's better than any surround we could hope for.
It's clean, Carson. It's clean. I did not like the archers at all on map 2, as people probably noticed. But we'll see where we go this time. We do have a few archers. We do have a Hunter's Hall. So again, it's looking like Keeper, Demon, Dryad, Expo. That is the build nowadays. As the Keeper is coming in for the harass. Ooh, this could be painful. Last hit goes to the Undead. Pendant stolen!
Oh,
Keeper!
no!
Keeper with the long fingers steals the pendant, and that's 4 ghouls going down here. Oh,
he even gets the priest, too. Oh, my God. Dise with the crazy harass. Well done. There's one more coil. Actually denies it instead of coiling it. It wasn't snared to boot. And that is, I think it's the right time to say this. That was terrible, terrible damage, Remo Demo.
Absolutely right, Dustin Browder. Oh, that was painful. Unconcealed, we saw the creeping with the Lich and the tier 2 Undead army, and that was safe. But here, a little greedy, honestly, by KraV. He didn't have vision of the Keeper, goes for that creep, and great punish by Dise. And KraV is so far behind right now.
Oh man, and the Death Knight trying to snag away a pendant of his own, perhaps. He says, you took mine, maybe I'll get yours. But will he have the time? The heal is a lot, and the level 2 coil threshold is not quite there, and the archers greet the Death Knight, and now the Demon Hunter is coming across as well as a single lore, so a similar strategy to last from Dise with an extra archer. We normally see about 5. Oh, gotta be careful to surround, but not attempted by Dise, just trying to put a little bit of extra damage on it. Yeah, this is certainly going to be probably a safe expansion creep. I like the cloak, though.
The cloak was cutesy. There is a wisp at the lab, so once again, Dise making sure he's doing what he needs to, and prevents the next coil. But Coil Nova is going to be ready now. Dise retreating away from it. Damage now on the Lich, as there's no more mana for the next coil. And the cloak transferred saves the demon. God damn it. Dise.
Pretty much perfect play so far. This is all very, very well done from Dise. No real mistakes. He could still lose that Demon Hunter if there was another coil or another Nova. There's at least the Nova for KraV. And the Demon Hunter, you love it as the Night Elf. Oh, he actually denies one of the creeps. I was going to say, you love it as the Night Elf when you're able to get all that experience on your Demon Hunter at that expansion. But a lot of the time, you have to keep the Keeper around to keep your expansion safe. So only a 1.4 or 5 Demon Hunter at the moment. And the Gargs are now streaming in. Very well timed triple Gargoyle harass from KraV.
Gonna find an archer here as well, but 3 archers can easily defend against 3 gargoyles. If the heroes come into the mix as well, it's gonna be a little different. Oh, and now KraV finds the opportunity. With the Nova, should be able to get 2 archers here, at least 1. Only 1, in fact. Entangled, getting cancelled in the meantime.
Oh, the wrong
This
mana
would be a
burn,
great timing
actually.
to expand as well on the other side, but that is not happening, and KraV might be forced to all in this position soon.
Yeah, Dise mana burned the Lich instead of the Death Knight that had a coil, but he still forced the invuln regardless, but did let that Lich get healed up to full from that coil, so the pressure could continue now with that statue, especially from KraV, but does he have tier 3? No, sticking on tier 2, and as you point out, maybe... Oh, no, he is going tier 3. I was going to say maybe a lot of pressure on tier 2 could be the play. He delayed the gold mine by quite a bit, but can he cancel it again? I think that is essential to do. He's going to have to do some sort of real damage here, KraV, I feel like, or it's slowly going to tilt in Dice's favor.
I would honestly think that it's solidly tilted already. With the tech being so late, it seems like KraV is quickly running out of options. What's he going to do now? The expansion, failure earlier, those ghoul losses are just so hard to recover from.
Yeah.
Only thing that Dise doesn't have going for himself is that the demon isn't leveled too well, but everything else is looking wonderful. He's got the shop coming, Moonwell, AP. He always makes the AP kind of proxy, so it safely gets up and then walks it over to the Expo. I've been seeing that from him a lot as well.
Yeah.
Really cool. He gets the Nature's Blessing to be safe, and probably soon going to push him to upkeep as well.
And he's got a nice couple of camps that he can string together to get close to the level 3 Demon Hunter. The Invuln's not going to be purchased because, of course, KraV Nice is still that away, but perhaps the heal scrolls could be invested now by Dise if he can make it to that shop in time. I doubt KraV is going to invest in those with what little gold he has at the moment. Demon Hunter, does he have illusions on him? I was going to say, if he had illusions, he may be able to go for the red camp. Could even do that regardless, but he's got none left. So he's going to go for the lab, but still, the Demon Hunter creeping for free, and there's the heal scroll, actually, and a Sobi mask for KraV, so decent items. But like he said, he's got to do something.
And now Dise has to buy the Shredder, otherwise Coach Neutron is going to hit him on the head. There we go. Hank Schrader, Neutron's favorite unit. If it was to be lost here, this would be really painful. There's no staff to get the Shredder out, right? Oh, no, there is. Okay. Really cool. Look at that. The Keeper comes back to ensure The Shredder's going to get back safely, and it's going to provide lots of lumber for Dryads, which are very lumber heavy.
Yeah, he is pretty low, and there's not a lot of wisps, so you'd have to pull them off the gold mine to repair, and that could be a great play for KraV. He's got to get at least a couple of returns of lumber to catch up in that department. The Keeper comes back to try to keep his base safe, as long as the Demon Hunter is actually following, so he's going to have the defenses ready to hold his main base and his expansion, and KraV really seems like he's struggling to get some damage done, which he's not really finding. One Dryad, but you're going to need more than that.
Quickly reminds Dise that he should definitely get some armor upgrades. Dryads without armor are a sad, sad sight. So should invest into that very, very soon. I wonder if nowadays when playing against Keeper Dryads, you should always try to snipe the Shredder. Because it just seems to be such a staple in this build, and eliminating it can be so beneficial.
Yeah, and he definitely could if he went into the main base to see it. I wonder if KraV even knows that Dise picked up that Shredder, because, of course, he was there at the expansion trying to kill Wisps again when he maybe could have been going to the main base to do that. But he's going to creep the red camp, which could be an extremely good item. It's going to need to be the best for KraV, because the gold is really high for Dise, who breaks upkeep now with some extra Wisps just to be able to build some buildings, similar to last game on Concealed Hill. He could not build the buildings because he ran out of Wisps. And he's going to attack tier 3. Maybe a little bit late is that tier 3 tech from Dise, but I don't think it'll have too much of an impact. And that item, not ideal for KraV. Helm of Valor.
Yeah, that perhaps not good enough to cut it. Dise not too late into upkeep with the Dryad production coming in. The Moonwell timing at the expansion also outstanding. They're always a little bit under threat of getting taken out by ghouls, but we saw earlier it's mostly Gargs anyways. And Dise again, just with a super clean game.
Yeah.
Ever since he got that lead early on with those ghoul kills with the Keeper harass, he's just been playing it wonderfully from there and gave no opportunity really to KraV to come back.
Yeah, I think the one thing Dise could do is maybe get another heal scroll, maybe another invul, and I think he's going to get that, or the invul, of course, on cooldown. The Demon Hunter has the one, but another heal scroll is going to be purchased. The tier 3 is probably going to be on time for any sort of a push that KraV is going to attempt to make. KraV is doing what he can. He's trying to get up to the high hero levels. I imagine he's going to go for a big hero focus in the fight, probably on the Keeper. If he can snipe 1 or 2 of those heroes, maybe that's his way back in. Then he can use that time to break the expansion. But it's going to have to be a fantastic fight. There's the Destroyer as well. KraV 59 supply. Plenty of Gargs. Is there enough Dryads? There's still some Archers, lots of Dryads. No Orb yet, though, so is this the timing for KraV?
How quick are these Dryad reflexes? You want to pull them back as quickly as you can, and doing a pretty good job of it so far. Fight's going to start very well for KraV, and then Dise wants to bring it back with mana burns over and over and better reinforcements. Keeper in trouble, dropping low HP very, very quickly. Lich out of mana already, has to pop the mana potion, and the mana burn comes in right after. So there's only one coil, and the staff gets the Keeper out of there. Seems like Dise is finding more and more footing in this fight. A few Dryads went down, but they can quickly be remade. More experience going to KraV. Lich still in trouble. Demon Hunter level 4. It will have to be popped here before too long. There it is. Statue now back in the mix. Seems like that wasn't enough statues, as so often is the case for KraV.
Yeah, KraV got a lot of kills there, but at the end of the day, he's left with no mana, and Dise, the reinforcements, like you pointed out, are going to be huge. And of course, he's tier 3 now as well, so he can get at least 1 orb. I do like to see a second shop in the main base. Sometimes it's something Foggy does to immediately get that second orb. But even if he had that second shop, he has got not a lot of gold currently. He does have 4 Dryads in the queue. And here comes KraV again. The gargoyle numbers are still decent.
Yeah, until now this Demon Hunter was only really good for burning and being a nuisance, but now he packs a serious punch, as Todd would say, and has some really good damage output with that orb. Keeper in trouble still. This is what Dise has to be careful about. The hero focus, but there's a staff ready for the Keeper. Dise has usually pretty good reflexes. Dryad's dying quickly. Needs more armor upgrades maybe. He didn't opt for the second one just yet, and KraV is finding a second win here perhaps.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him maybe going for a counter expansion behind this, because he's doing great damage, he's trading very effectively, but is he going to be able to find the kill? He did clear out that red camp himself, so he could have gone for it behind another invuln forced. And the nukes are very scary now if KraV can ever get the mana up, but the mana burns have been on point, of course. The shop going to fall before that second orb can spawn. Gonna have to certainly be rebuilt. The Moon Juice is actually decent thanks to the Wellspring upgrade immediately at tier 3 for Dise. And he is getting some kills, but KraV has been doing this very well with this 59 supply timing he did.
Using that shop definitely hurt. Second orb here would have been wonderful. And it's just so many Dryads going down over and over. KraV might still win this. Dicey was up at 70 supply, but it's all disappeared. These Dryads just dying too fast. And I think the focus fire here isn't perfect. If you spread your damage on all the gargoyles, the statue's gonna be healing like crazy. Statue, in fact, out of mana now, so no healing anymore. Keeper in trouble again. Back to the Moonwells. But there's not too much juice left.
A couple of Gargs did fall, and even if you're trading 3-1 against the Undead, eventually the Undead runs out of steam, and the Dryads are going to be continuously reinforcing. So, are we seeing that happen? There's 3 Gargs, 2 Destroyers up in the air. Of course, the Destroyers not too effective against anything on the field. The Potion used, the Coil is used as well, but there's no more mana for the Undead. Shop being rebuilt to the north of the base. The Shredder could have maybe came into the fight a little bit earlier, but against the Destroyers, not going to be too effective. Dise trying to delay. And KraV trying to just reinforce. He is building more Gargs, but he's running kind of low on units. But, you know, the heroes are still very strong.
Dark Ritual can come out of nowhere. Nova can always come out of nowhere. Even the Shredder has to fight, but the Shredder's going to be quickly gunned down. I guess there's not enough lumber now. Yeah, Dise has to go for a hero kill. That's the right call. TP transfer. Finally, Dise gets his opponent out of his face after monumental losses, though.
Wow.
And this Lich should be level 5 in a moment. Yeah, absolutely. Mana Potion bought, and back we go. Run for the Invo Potion has to be the priority. Dise a little bit slow to get to the middle. This Invo is a really big deal.
I don't like what if probably 35 Dryads died this game. There's been a lot of losses for Dise. His expansion has 5,000 left, but if that fight proved anything to Dise, it's that he's going to need an even bigger supply advantage than 15, I think he was before, maybe 10, but he's going to need quite a bit. So I think delay should be in Dice's mind right now. Buy as much time as he can. Get that second orb that he's still missing, and maybe he can finally close this game out. I think, don't think he made necessarily any big mistakes, but maybe just fighting a bit too much, trading a bit too much, not buying as much time as he could have. And now, KraV's still in the position to win this game.
Keeper's gonna have to TP out here before too long. He's trying to buy as much time as he can! That Moonwell, Jesus! 10 HP or something, but the Keeper survives. And that was the nuke sort of going into nowhere. Very good control on the Dryads. Look how much time these Gargoyles are wasting now. But the Keeper in trouble still. The new shop is there. Keeper staffed out now. Didn't get the new orb yet. But with double AP, this is the best fight Dise has had in a long time.
Yeah, the Dryads taking a lot of damage, but the splash damage from the AP is going to help out so much. The mana burns are still always there, almost level 6 on the Death Knight, but it's not going to be that game-breaking for KraV. The Keeper comes back in, but with no health, honestly. Going to buy another potion, could buy the second orb as well now. Not yet purchasing it, actually. A little bit surprising. Coil goes on the Demon Hunter. That's the last potion from the shop, so the town portal out. Just to save that hero, and that's the last potion. Not a lot of moon juice, no potions in the shop,
Jesus
but the 2
Christ.
APs might be able to hold on. Yeah. Crazy
Absolutely mad game. KraV has no ghouls, by the way. He doesn't have any lumber income anymore, which means he can't make any units soon outside of ghouls. Dise has been holding on, trying to survive for the last couple of minutes, but now I think he's finally there. I think he finally stabilized.
Oh, 1 mana off a coil. Okay, he does have the coil. Uses it on the Lich. No town portal, of course. The mana burn was so close in this level 3 mana burn. There's not really any hope of getting spells off, short of Dark Ritual, short of a mana potion. Level 5 Demon Hunter is insanely strong. Still no second orb. I say it again, no second orb yet for Dise, but he's just kind of trying to stabilize. I feel like he's been trying to stabilize for the last 10 minutes. But the Shredder, remember, did die to the Destroyers, so the lumber is kind of getting shot a bit for Dise, just like it is for KraV. But it will be fixed in no time with the double wisp production off of 2 trees.
Dise now hunting himself. He's got the 2-2 upgrade on the Dryads. Finally! That second armor upgrade makes a huge difference. By the way, also, now the Demon Hunter very capable of just killing statues, or at least disabling them with those burns.
Yeah, he's got full mana, too. Sometimes, even in this sort of a situation, you'll see, the one time you'll see clarities on the Demon Hunter. But he's got plenty of mana burns in the future, enough to kill that statue. Of course, the statue healing up all those Gargs in the past. The other one was drained dry, but now he's got a new statue KraV that he reinforced with, and he did rebuild 2 ghouls to the main base and starting to get some more Gargs out. The nuke is going to have to probably be used on these heroes, I think, for KraV soon.
Very cool game.
Yeah.
Definitely the best game we've had so far today. And the winner isn't determined yet. It is looking better for Dise, but we said that before, because it was the case before. Love this invis on the demon. Love the late game boots as well. Not enough people do this. It's sometimes
so
a problem
cool.
when you don't have enough slots. But if you have the slots and the gold, you should always go for these late game boots.
Yeah, I love this stuff from Dise. He consistently does things that's like, oh, this might be a good idea, and then he just immediately does it. I love that. I hear you guys talk about the late game boots all the time, and I think it's great. And note also, Dise, I don't think he's even lost a hero yet this game. Didn't lose any early level 1 demon hunters, hasn't lost his keeper sloppily, has always had the staff, and now he's got the scout in position to creepjack the red, and there's no town portal for KraV.
Demon Hunter, how cheeky is he gonna be? Is he gonna try to get the last hit? No. Mana burn and steals the item!
Oh.
I guess experience goes into oblivion with all heroes here being level 5 already. Kolnova, desperate attempts on the keeper, but he's got the invul potion. Dodges the damage, and the Demon Hunter might be killing the DK right here. Focus fire coming in. The next entangle could be his end, should be his end. DK almost dead. Entangle is there. DK is dead indeed. Back to the grave, and that is GG. And the win for Dise in a very deserved manner. Great play by him.
What a tug of war, and what an exclamation mark for Dise to make it into the quarterfinal. This was a game or series on eye level between the two. It was back and forth, and both players were making some adjustments here and there from one map to the other. Love the scouting by Dise in map 3. This was something that was certainly lagging on Concealed Hill. Here we saw constantly wisps everywhere. The Invis Demon Hunter at the very late game to not get surprised by Necros again or something. Crazy fights that lasted for, 10 minutes straight. Incredible game. As you guys said, certainly the best series of the day. Certainly the most entertaining. Super sad for KraV as he won't have a big impact in the one-on-one competition, but he's not out of the season yet, as he is a part of the 2-on-2 competition with Starbuck, of course, one of the best teams that Europe has to offer. So hopefully tomorrow, with some social media support, KraV and Starbuck fighting for the crown in the 2-on-2. But that Undead is out, and we get a Knight of Mirror quarterfinal. It is Lawlight versus Dise. The young Russian might need a break here, maybe, after this hell of a game. And the later it gets, the worse it might be for Lawlight, as, I don't know, it's probably 5 a.m. or something.
I think it is, yeah, 5 a.m.
Absolutely insane. That was super cool, and super cool are you guys out there, because we have another €13.89 89 contribution by Zimmerling, the second one today, I think. Stop donating uneven numbers, he said. And Heavy Sweater with a $10. Thanks for the great coverage. So, $540 short of the big 5K. Can we do this together on day 1 out of 3 here in the War3 Champions season finals? Thank you, Link Lambeau, for buying a hoodie and more swag off of our Back to Warcraft shop that has W3 Champions limited merchandise this weekend only. All the money that we earn from that goes into the tournament, of course, and the project of War3 Champions as well. That was a breathtaking series, so we need a little bit of time to recover from that. Time for you to check out the match arena, check out the merch shop, and everything that's in the description. And then we're back with the last game of the day. It's going to be Lawlight versus Dise.